Hello everybody, I'm Alicia. Welcome to my Beautiful Nights channel. For this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to make a necklace like this one right here. Now going back like 2 years, I did a knotted rosary necklace. If you did not see that tutorial, I'll put a picture up now. I was so in love with how that necklace was designed. I loved it so much. I was really proud of myself. And I thought, man, I want to make more jewelry like this with the knotting. It's so elegant, it's beautiful, it's really trendy looking. And so after I did that, I don't know how much time went by, but I ended up doing another necklace with crystal beads with the same knotting technique. So I'll put a picture for that. Okay, and after that, again, some time went by and I did another knotted necklace, but with a nautilus pendant. And it was a ocean beach theme, Surf's Up. So I'll put a picture for that one. Right, so as you can see, I've been doing this knotting thing, and I love it so much. And I've been using so many different materials, and I'm getting all these looks. And so I recently got, well actually it was last month, I got the September Wendy's Safari subscription right here from Sam's Bead Box. If you did not see me open that box, I'll put a picture up of everything I got in it. So after I opened it up, I ended up making this necklace right here, which is a very big statement necklace. It's hard to lay it out and for you to see it properly, and so I have it like compact into the camera here because I also have this one I'm showing you. So I'll put a picture of what this one looks like open because I have it all bunched up. Alright, so I made this necklace, and I was actually working on this one and this necklace at the same time. I was going back and forth. I had my wooden design board out, and I started this one first, but I also thought I wanted to do a knotting one. And what really inspired me to do the knotting one was the turquoise nugget beads right here. So again, all of these beads came in the Sam's Bead Box, Wendy's Safari. You can go back and get this box in case you missed it. They sell past boxes, which I love so much. So you guys can go buy this box, get the same exact materials, come back to my videos and make this necklace and this necklace here. And plus there's a bunch of leftover beads, which I will go through these because I used a ton of them, as you can see, both of these here. But what I do is I put a rule on myself to use just basic necessity materials so you guys can make pretty much the same thing I'm making, because I want everybody to be able to make what I'm making, you know. I feel like it's just better. So for this one here, what I used from my stash, basic necessity materials, is bead string wire. I use soft flex wire. You don't have to use soft flex. I use crimp tubes. I use a lobster claw clasp. I used a split ring here for the closure. I did a head pin here for this large bead. And those there are crimp tubes, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Basic stuff. All of the beads. These here. Oh, I did wire right here. I wire up this pendant here. I talked about it in the tutorial for this. But yeah, I pretty much used what was from the box, only necessities from my stash. For this one here, the only thing I used from my stash for this necklace is cord. And I'll go over the cord that I'm using. I've actually used the cord a lot now. I've used it in the rosaries that I make. I've used it in the Surf's Up necklace, and I think I also used the same one in that crystal necklace that I showed. And all of the pictures that I show, those are tutorials. You can go back and watch those videos and learn how to make all the projects that I show you. But for this video, I'm going to show you guys how to make a necklace like this. Now, I have to tell you, when I went to do this project, I was so unsure about it. I was doubting myself. I didn't know if it was going to be long enough. I didn't know if it was going to work. I procrastinated about this for a long time now. It's probably been sitting around for 2 or 3 weeks. As you know, I've been sick a lot. I've been living at the doctor's office. I go to the doctor's office twice a week. And so I've been trying to get to it. It's been hard to film it, but I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to go for it. I wanted to do a tutorial on it, but I thought, since I don't have time to do a tutorial, I think I'm just going to stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning and figure out if it'll work or not. And so a lot of people might think, oh, this is just like a simple stringing project. There's actually a lot more to it. This is an asymmetric design, which I struggle with a lot. Because with asymmetry, you have to make sure that you have your beads distributed in a way that when you wear the necklace, it falls and lays properly. So I thought, when I designed this, that I wanted the big bead to go like this. That's how I want it to lay. But it actually lays like this, okay? Sometimes it'll turn a little bit more like that, when I'm wearing it, but it still is perfect. I love this so much. So when I was a kid, I used to watch QVC, the shopping channels, and I would watch jewelry making. So I started jewelry making when I was 7 years old, okay? So I would watch the shopping channels, and I would see amazing necklaces like Joan Rivers designs, right? And I would see these hand-knotted turquoise, real genuine turquoise necklaces that looked like this. And I just remembered pretty much my whole life that I've always wanted to make a hand-knotted piece like this. I couldn't buy my own. If I could make my own, that would be awesome. And so I finally did it after all these years. But I'm just so happy. So these are real genuine turquoise nugget beads that came in the Wendy's Safari box. Again, I will link this box in the description bar. Go get this box. You can make both of these designs. You're going to have materials left over. And so I ended up making this necklace, and I thought, I got to do a tutorial on this. It has just turned out to be so epic. I've been wearing this necklace a lot ever since I've made it, and I don't usually do that. I usually make a piece, and I will actually put it in a box, in a bag, in a box, and that's pretty much it. But I'm just obsessed with this. I don't know what it is about this knotting. I just feel like this is like a very artistic looking, artsy kind of design. I love this style of jewelry so much. So I thought I should cut this up and refilm it, and I thought, no, that's crazy. Let's see, because I do this a lot. I will make a design and I will cut it up and film how to do it. And reminder, I recently did a bracelet tutorial, and I did just that. I made the entire bracelet and then I cut it up so I can refilm it. I'll put the picture of the bracelet tutorial up in case you missed it. And so I thought, let's not cut it up, Alicia. Let's make a second one, but with different beads, because not everybody is going to have the same beads, and it's good to do this because it shows that you can use what you have in your stash, play around with different sizes, shapes of beads, and basically it's my designing process, okay? So I'm going to move these away from the camera, and I'm going to go to the box that I recently got, which is the Marigold Memory subscription box. So here it is. Now I put the beads in this container. This container is perfect for this subscription box. Every time I get it, I realize I fill all the compartments, okay? So these are the beads that I got. I've already taken a lot of them out, and I have them strung up for the necklace that I'm going to be making in the tutorial with you guys. But I just wanted to show you my leftovers, current leftovers. I'll put a picture up of everything I got in the box because there's a lot of stuff missing here. Now, I will be doing a project like this with the Sam's bead box. This is the Marigold Memory subscription. I will link the subscription down below in the description bar. You can go get this. I want to make a necklace like this as my first project, but as my second project, I would like to make another weaving bracelet because weaving is where my heart is. And so I haven't tried anything yet, but looking at the beads here, I see that these beads are all weaving beads. Okay, all of these. I can use all of these for weaving, so I would like to come back to this and see if I can do a bracelet. I kind of wish there was 2-hole beads, because when I did that ginkgo bracelet, I had a blast with those 2-hole beads. I used to work with 2-hole beads like every month, and I kind of stopped doing that because I haven't been getting them in these subscription boxes that I receive, okay? So, oh, I meant to show you these real quick. My leftovers, because I've used a ton of materials from this box. So my leftovers are these 2-hole beads. These are Czech fire polish beads in turquoise and the giraffe. I used a lot of these. I used them in both necklaces. I use these in the back of this necklace. I didn't use the giraffes because they're more for like bracelets. I use the elephants. I use these in both necklaces. I use these in this one. I use these in this one. I didn't use any of the leaves. And I didn't use, no I did. I used the flowers in both. Flowers and flowers here, okay? And these here, I used these in both. So that was the rondelles, the olive bead I used in this one as well. I used it in this one. Tiger's eye beads, I used in both. Yes. Okay. And the wooden beads. I actually didn't use them. No, I did. I used them here. Okay, so as you can see, I used a ton of supplies, but there's still a lot left over. So it's an awesome box. As you know, I use these leaves all the time. But yeah, you guys got to get this. Okay, you got to get this. Come back, do this project. And you could probably sell this necklace and this necklace for way more than the whole box costs if you wanted to. Okay, so let's go to the project we're going to be working on. I almost forgot to tell you guys, if you do get the Sam's Bead Box, whether you're getting Wendy's Safari or the Marigold Memory for October, I have a coupon code for you, and the coupon code is BEAD5, and that is capital letters, B-E-A-D 5, and this coupon will get you $5 off your first box. I'm going to link the coupon code BEAD5 and the website down there below in the description bar in case you want to go and get these boxes to make these designs, okay? So I went ahead and I strung my beads up and I laid them out on my board. And some of you are thinking, Alicia, why did you put the beads onto bead string wire when you're going to be using cord? Well, I need to know what this is going to look like. I have to get an idea. And I need to try to figure out if I'm going to have enough, you know, beads, knots to slide this over my head, because I don't want to use a clasp, right? So I strung them up onto bead string wire. Well, first I laid the pattern out on the board, as you can see, and I don't have the same materials that I use in this necklace, so I have to improvise and try to figure out how I'm going to do this with completely different beads. And there's a lot of things I have to go over with you guys. Hopefully I won't forget anything. If I do, I'll put it in like writing in the video or notes in the description bar. You'll see notes down there. And so yeah, so one thing I screwed up when I made this necklace, I did pre-string it because I needed to see how long it was already at with just stringing. You know, when you add the knots in between, it makes the necklace longer, a lot longer, believe it or not. But one thing I did is I screwed up and I did not measure how long this was. I want to say it could have been anywhere from, before knotting, it could have been anywhere from 20 to 22 to 23 inches in that area. But I'm not for sure because last minute I ended up deciding to put more of these gemstone beads in. I didn't have as many and I thought it looked really good with more, so I put more in. So yeah, I don't remember the measurement for it, okay? So you're going to need a lot of beads that are the same. For the part where I did the turquoise here, for me, that's going to be the same beads, will be the 8mm beads here, okay? So I will be having them in place of the turquoise beads. And then I decided, you know, in this one, I broke up the turquoise with these. I had to do this. I needed more length. And it looks so cool because it pulls together because I have these gemstone colors on this side and I also have them on the other side, but they're slightly different. It just works, okay? So I thought I can do, these were strung up on a strand just like this. They didn't have beads in between. I like that how it looked. It's actually called color blocking. That's what I call it. I thought, you know what, I think I'll put a bead in between the spaces for more length, and so I did these twisted black beads, okay? And I actually kind of feel like this one should be here because I could then have two cubes here, and so that's symmetrical to me. So I have two cubes here, this big one here, two here, and then I thought, no, don't do that because this bead is so big over here, it might make the necklace spin more. I think I need the weight here. Yeah, that makes more sense. Do that, Alicia. Okay, so I strung the beads up to get an idea of what this could possibly look like. I did the same thing with this. Now over here, as you may notice, this is a connector, but I don't have a connector in this subscription box. Okay, I got this chandelier thing, which I really wanted to use, but since I'm doing this necklace, there's no way I'm going to be using that. I mean, I could possibly try to use it as a connector, but this is totally going to flip and be a pain in my butt. I also thought about doing the heart toggle there, having that as a connector, because it pretty much is a connector. But I'm thinking, no, I don't think I want that. And so I thought, well, let's improvise. Let's make a connector. That's what I usually do. If I don't have something, I make it. So I want to put this bead, the biggest bead, and this is what this whole theme is about. Marigold Memory. It's a Day of the Dead themed. You have to read the paper for it. Go watch the opening of the video. I think what I should do is wire wrap loops on the sides of this giant flower. If you look, it's the biggest bead. Okay, the whole box is surrounded by marigold memory, marigold flowers in the story that's in the box. So when I go to do wire wrap loops on the sides of this, it's actually going to make a space in between these beads. So I'm just going to pull this apart because I have to have space for wire wrap loops, but not just that, I also have to do macrame on the sides there. So think about a wire wrap loop plus macrame. That's going to add more length to the necklace, right? So then I have these beads over here, and so my pattern is, I played a lot with these. I really tried to make it look random like I did with this here, but I was having issues with these same colors touching each other, or like flower on top of flower on top of flower, and I wanted to distribute it. I wanted to use 2 skulls. I was going to use 1 skull at first, but I thought, no, Day of the Dead sugar skulls, there's lots of skulls, so I'll use 2. 3, actually I have 3 in a box, but I thought I need 2. And so I'm going to go over why I came up with this pattern, the method to my madness. So there's this here. This is going to be my connector in place of the fern connector, okay, for my necklace. And then I have this blue teardrop. Okay, so I thought, well, I'll have this here. I rearranged this several times, and this is the best pattern I came up with. So I have the blue teardrop here, okay? Then I have this flower bead. It's laying on its side right now. You can't see that well, but we're going to go over that too because that's another whole situation there. And then after the flower is the fuchsia teardrop table cut. and then it's the teardrop, this stardust teardrop, and then it's the skull, okay? And then I got here and I'm like, well, after the skull bead, I don't want to use, I have 2 of these hearts, I don't want to use both of them. Because in this one, if you look, I have lots of oddballs. Like, these are the same, okay? I have one of those flowers, one of those elephants, but then I have this elephant that's different. Okay, I have 2 of these, but they're different sizes. Okay, it's a lot of oddballs, or pairs of beads. And so I thought, well, this purple heart has flowers, and this has the flowers. It's basically a flower bead. I'll just use them. Purple, flowers. Get what I'm saying? And then I did, you know, this blue teardrop here, and I could have done another blue teardrop, but I thought, no, let's do this flower bead here. Now, there's several of these in the box, but I needed another blue bead, but I didn't want to do the teardrop again. So I did this one single flower bead. It's an oddball. Okay, so this is my pattern. I'm hoping this is going to be enough beads. This might be a little bit shorter than this necklace, but there's also something else I have to point out to you. So I'm going to take these off, okay, because I want to show you. Now, I strung these up to get an idea, but look at these flowers I'm going to use. These flowers have a center hole. So I recently had done a necklace with these flower beads. I showed how you can use them. It was a knotting necklace. It was a very simple, easy project, but I used them in a really cool way. If you did not see the tutorial I'm talking about, I'll put pictures up of the necklaces I made with this kind of flower bead. Okay, so I'm going to use this flower the same way I did in those necklaces. So it's not going to be strung up, it's going to be laying like this. So then this one up here will also be laying like this. Okay? So laying them on their sides is going to give me more length in the necklace. So again, let's go back to how I needed to have gaps between this. I wish I can show you better. I can't go up any higher because there's a shelf up there. Again, we have to have gaps between here and here for the wire wrap loops for this bead and the macrame knotting that will be connecting the connector, just like on this here. So there's going to be gaps there. Okay, I'm thinking it might be like, it's going to be more than 1/4 of an inch, maybe close to 1/2 inch on each side. I'm not totally sure. But then there up here is going to be gaps because there's going to be a knot in between these beads, and then the cord's going to open up and we're going to crisscross through the flower. Okay. And again, there's going to be knots between all of these beads, so I'm just laying this out. These scooch up, and then this is going to sit like this. Okay, so right now, pretending the space that I need with these flowers on their sides, I just gained, was it 2 inches? Look at this. I'm at 11 up here, close to 11 over there. Yes, I'll just say that's 11 on each side. Yeah, so that's about 22 inches in length. So I don't know if it's going to be the same length as this one. It might be close, but this is my pattern. This is my layout. This is how I do this. So yeah, go through your stash. Look for focal beads. So in this one, I have lots of Czech focals, but in this one, I did gemstones. So also look through gemstones, see what you have. So see, I have these gemstones here. And this is great because look, like this one is so beautiful. This one's kind of like a Z bead. We have beautiful Z beads, large gemstone beads that we kind of hoard. They're beautiful, but we hoard them because they're so big, and it's like, what do we do with them? This is a great project to do, especially these beautiful focal Czech beads here. There's a lot of stuff like this in Michael's right now. It's crazy expensive, use coupons. But yeah, that's also another focal Czech there. So let's go ahead and go over how we're going to design this and the difference between this necklace I'm working on and this one, because every necklace you make is going to be a little bit different according to your bead holes. If you are enjoying this knotting video, I do recommend that you do go watch my rosary necklace that I did that I talked about earlier in the video, the crystal bead necklace, and the one that I did with the nautilus bead, because all of these I have done several different techniques and there's things that I've discovered. And so if you're going to make a necklace like this, you might find those videos very helpful. Okay, so I'm going to go over how I ended up making this necklace in case you do get this Wendy's Safari box. You can replicate this and make the same exact necklace. I'm going to tell you what I went through, what I did, what happened, how it went, okay? So you can make the same one. The other necklace I'm going to be making in the video is going to be made differently because I'm going to be using beads. For example, the 8mm beads, they're going to have larger holes. So I'm going to start out making that necklace differently than how I did this one. There's going to be things that are different when you go to make a project like this, and I'm going to do my best to show you how you can use different kinds, shapes of beads, different bead holes, how you can make them work for you. Okay, so this is really a designing with me type video. That's why the beginning of this is longer. It's a learning process, it's experimenting, it's seeing what works, what doesn't work. Okay, so how this went for me. So when I started this, I really wanted to use the 2-cord technique, and that's where I have 2 cords like this. I tie overhand knots, I separate the 2 cords, pull the knot slides down into the bead hole. Perfect, right? So when I started doing this, stringing these turquoise nuggets, I realized I am not going to be able to do the 2-cord method. I'm going to have to do 1 single cord, and I'm going to have to use tweezers to slide the knot down. So I have a pair of tweezers right here. Okay, I use these to slide the knot down. And so basically I did cord like this, strung my beads on, did an overhand knot. I need to bring more cord off the spool. Did an overhand knot. Okay, there's my knot. I slid the knot down. I used the tweezers to go like this to slide the knot down, make the knot tight, make the knot close up against the beads, as you can see, okay? And then I continued that with 1 cord, all the way with 1 cord, tie knots in between the beads, using the tweezers every time I tie a knot to slide the knot down against my bead, until I got over here to the 6mm Czech bead. And then I realized 2 cords will go through this bead. Now, 2 cords would have also gone through all of these Czech glass beads here, okay? But I found that it was kind of unnecessary. The holes aren't that big, and they actually worked, the cord worked pretty well with these beads. We're doing 1 knot. Now, the whole thing about this design is that we're using beads that have different size holes. So to make your necklace professional, you don't want your bead to swallow your knot. You don't want the knot to go into the bead. And if you study this whole thing, I don't have one area where the knot is going inside of the bead. You can see the knots in between all of the beads. So that's a professional looking necklace, okay? So like I said, 1 single cord all the way to this 6mm Czech fire polish bead. So that means that I had 1 tail here. Now, I ended up tying square knots here, which takes 2 cords to do. So you're probably thinking, how in the world did you do that with 1 cord? I'll get back to that, because I ended up having to deal with that at the end. When I was working through it, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this side, but I ended up figuring it out. It was pretty simple. It was easy. Okay, so I'll get back to that. So when I got here, like I said, I did 1 cord. I'm like, dude, 2 cords would fit through this bead. This bead is going to hop over the knot. The knot's going to go inside of it. It's going to look terrible. What do? I'm like, I need a 2nd cord. And then I realized, well, this one will also use 2 cords. This one will use 2 cords. That 2 cords, 2 cords, 2 cords, 2 cords, 2 cords. All of these right here, 2 cords will fit inside of very easily. They have large holes. Okay. Now, like I said, I managed to do 1 cord with all of these. But as you can see, the knot did not get sucked into this bead. It doesn't have the biggest hole. 2 cords do fit through here, but the cords, the knots are staying on the sides of the beads. As you can see how they bump going back and forth. Okay. And so what I ended up doing, I'll show you here for an example. So I had a single cord, and here I am. And by the way, I started with 13 feet of cord, because out of experience of making the crystal necklace and the one with the nautilus bead, I ended up needing 13 feet of cord for the nautilus bead one. I don't remember the crystal one, how much it was, but I went back and forth the notes when I did that. It's been a lot of time has passed since I've done those projects. But anyways, I ended up realizing with the nautilus one that 13 feet was the perfect length. I actually barely finished the nautilus necklace. I had a 1/4 inch cord left over, and I used a 1/4 inch of cord. I tied a knot with that much length with these tweezers. It was a miracle, that necklace. But yeah, I made it 1 time. I didn't have to undo it and redo it again. It worked out perfectly. So anyways, when I got to here, the beads that could hold 2 cords, I realized, wait a second, I can add in a 2nd cord. So there was a knot here. There was beads here, okay? I'm like, I can add in a 2nd cord. I know what to do. So I ended up undoing this knot, which this knot is very easy to undo. I mean, this cord is easy to undo knots because it's not twisted. So S-Long cord is twisted. This cord is braided. This is flat wax polyester cord. I've used this several times. It's amazing stuff. I've bought it in several colors now. I'm actually addicted to collecting the colors. This spool starts out at $30, but I have got it as low as $14. I find it on Amazon, and what I do is I put it in my cart and I'll watch for a sale, and they will mark it down to as low as $14. And I'll just, you know, I'll end up buying it when it gets that cheap. But I've never paid $30 for the full price for it because I've always been frugal like that, and I've always got deals. You know, I don't like spending more than I need to. So anyways, I will link these down below. I've got them from 3 different sellers on Amazon. I would say if you're only going to get one color cord, get this here. I think this is called Coffee Brown. I will try and link it in the description. If you don't see it, let me know, because I have so much that I do. I'm a one-man band. I probably might forget, so let me know in the comments if you don't see it in the description, and I will do my best. But yeah, this stuff is amazing. Okay, so anyways, I undid the knot, and I use chain nose pliers to undo the knot. I actually don't use tweezers because they're not strong enough to undo it. So I have a fine point chain nose. This is a bent nose. See, there's fine point meaning small. I undo the knot with these. It undoes it every time. Okay, I don't have fraying issues. It's perfect. The cord is waxed, so it's protected from water. This is a leather working cord, so it's a very durable cord. It's made to last. Okay, it's also meltable. That's why I like it. So I undid the knot after the turquoise bead. And what I did is I'm like, I can add a second cord to this. What if I went like this? I'm like, oh my gosh, this will work. So I just went like this, okay, with the tail. I took the tail around and I went through like that. And I made a knot with 2 cords. So the knot was here, okay? And then I had this amazing loop. And what I did is I got a leader needle. So basically what that is, I learned this from Sandra Younger, the inventor of the Naughty Doodle board. Basically what she does is she takes a piece of fireline thread. Okay, this is a really short one. She usually makes hers about 2 feet long. This is just a scrap piece of thread that I had, came off of a bracelet, whatever. And see, it's just a loop here with a knot. And what's great about these is you could totally reuse this. So there's my knot. It's just an overhand knot. So I pull this apart, okay? It opens it up. I just freed it so I could actually cut it. My needle came off, so I need to put this back on here. But basically, I'm just trying to show you. Here's my loop, okay? So I put this through here. I put the needle on, pretend the needle's on. And then I do an overhand knot. Okay, put the ends together, make sure they're even. Do an overhand knot. Okay, just like that. The thread's crappy, I need to make a new one. A leader needle. Okay, so then pretend the needle's on here. Now, you want the knot, this to be like on the side, so you go like this, so then your needle would be here. And then you could pick your beads up. And because this is super thin, the beads slide right over this. No issue. Now imagine if you had a larger needle, like a needlepoint needle, there's no way that you can get your beads onto that needle and over this. And even the big eye needles, they become bulky and you can't get your beads to go over this area right here. So that's what I ended up doing. So I did that, okay? I added each bead, I strung them. I didn't string all of my beads. I'll show you when I go to do the other one. I didn't string all of them at once and then do the knotting like I have done with the other designs that I have made. I actually strung in sections. I strung as I needed them. Okay, so I went all the way to here with doing these 2 cords, tying knots. Tie knot, add a bead, tie knot, add a bead. Okay, that's what I did. And then when I got here, I was like, oh my gosh, this bead, it's a Czech glass bead. It has the smallest hole. I don't know why. This is Czech, 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 Czech. All those Czech glass. This is gemstone, that's gemstone, gemstone. Those have pretty large holes. These here, I would say the holes are pretty much the same, but for some reason this had the smallest hole. It was like a pearl. It was insane. And so when I got here, I'm like, wait a second. All I need to do is cut one of these cords. And so I left about 1/4 of an inch and I cut the cord, okay? And then this opened up. And I slid the bead onto the long cord, and I had this little short tail, and I left the short tail, and what I ended up doing is I came back with my lighter, and I stuck the tail out like this. Okay, there was a bead on here, and I just burnt that little tail down to the knot so it didn't unravel, right? Made sense? So then there's one thread in here, one cord in here. And then I got here, I'm like, you know what? All of these other beads, 2 cords can fit through. So I did it again. I took the tail that I had, and I folded it back around, tied a knot just like this. I had the same loop again. I put my little thing on here, and I was able to string the beads, and I have 2 cords in between all of these beads all the way down here, and then I did square knots to finish this. It was so ridiculous how easy it went, and it was ridiculous that I waited so long to make this necklace because it actually went so well. One thing I've really realized is I overthink things. I will think so long and hard about a lot of the designs I make, and I realize if I just jumped into it, if I just played, that's what it is. It's playing around with the beads, with the cord, with designs. If I just played with it, it would be so much faster than thinking about it. I almost forgot to tell you, so how did I finish this side over here that had the one cord, right? I need 2 cords to do square knots to attach on my connector here. So I realized with how I would take the tail, loop it around, tie an overhand knot, I just went to my spool, okay? And I undid the knot, because remember, I had to undo the knot over here on this side, so I can put 2 cords through this bead. So I undid the knot with the chain nose pliers. Because the cord is braided, it's really easy to undo the knot. If it's a twisted cord, it's going to want to fray on you, like the S-line cord. Sometimes S-line cord doesn't fray that bad. You have to be careful. Like, I have picked cords apart with like a pointy tool, right? And that's usually what frays it. But if you can pull it apart with pliers, or if you actually squish the knot, for some reason squishing the knot relaxes it, and then you can pick it open, okay? So I undid the knot. I went to my spool here because I had a 6-inch tail, remember? Well, actually I forgot to tell you, I always leave a 6-inch tail when I start, because that's enough to do the square knotting comfortably. Okay, so I had a 6-inch tail, I undid the knot, I went to my spool cord here, straight off the spool, I just went like this, okay? I did not cut a length. I did a knot with both, I held it here, I did an overhand knot with both cords, I slid the knot down, I pulled the cords apart like I usually do, and then I had 2 cords to do the square knotting. It was pretty simple. I also realized, because I just rewatched the video, that I forgot to mention. I started with 13 feet of cord to make this. I ended up having 4 feet. So if you buy the Wendy Safari kit and you go to remake this necklace, you only need to cut 9 feet cord. That will be enough to do this necklace, okay? Now, for the other one, I think I'm going to start with 13 feet to be safe, and we'll see how much feet we have left over. I just want to show you a quick, easy way to measure your cord. So what I do is I have a bead spinner here, okay? It has this metal thing on it. I put my spool onto this, and it spins. So I take the cord, and I wrap it around my ruler 13 times to get 13 feet of cord. This is an accurate measurement. As you can see, I hold it here, wrap it around. So I actually have 7 wraps on this side and 6 on this side. So that is how I measure my cord, alright? Oh, one other thing. There's also more knotting necklaces that I have made. It's just, I'm almost 1,000 videos, by the way, in case you didn't know. I have done mala necklaces, different versions of mala necklaces. If you haven't seen those tutorials, I'll put pictures up now. Alright, so what I did was rearrange the beads on my bead string wire, the layout, because I have to start by picking the beads up here, going this direction, okay, all the way down here. And remember, this is going to go onto wire. I'm going to do wire wrap loops on both sides of this. I'll have to get wire out at the end. I'll do that because I don't have to do that now. I'm going to do the knotting first. So I need to start picking up beads from this side, so that's why I rearranged the beads onto my bead string wire. Because if you remember, the opening was here. My tails were both here, so I just rearranged them on the wire. Okay, and I'm going to start by picking up here, but the first thing I need to do, because of how this is, the first thing I need to do is find the tails on my 13 feet of cord, and again, I mentioned how this one actually used 9 feet. Okay, so here I am. I put the tails together, 13 feet of cord, okay? Just running my hands down. Okay, there's the loop, okay? Now, on this one, I did 1 strand, right? Remember? I did 1 strand, I did a knotting, single knot, 1 strand all the way to here, and then I added in the second cord. But this necklace, these 8mm beads have a much bigger hole. I'm going to be able to fit 2 cords through them. So the 2 cords eat up a lot of length. So if you remember, I found out, because I have done this so much, when you tie a double knot with 2 cords, or a single knot with 2 cords, it uses up ½ an inch of length. So what I do is I put my 2 ends together so they are even. I hold this on the ruler, okay, and you just want to hold this right here at 6.5 inches. Okay, actually I need to do a little bit of adjustment. So about here, if you can see that. Yeah, okay, hold at the 6.5 inch mark. Okay, pinch this, hold it, tie an overhand knot, and you're going to bring this knot down to your thumb here, and this should be 6 inches of tail. So let's see. And sure enough, it is. Okay, so I'm going to pull this knot down, pull it tight, pull both sides. I also separate these ends, and I pull it. Now don't pull it too hard because the knot will go up and down. It'll slide. You can actually undo the knot by pulling these two really hard. It will eventually, the knot will eventually roll all the way down here. If it doesn't, then I don't know. I haven't had that happen to me. So 6-inch tails, okay? 2 of them. These will be used to tie square knots to connect our connector. And again, I have to turn this bead into a connector. So now what I'm going to do is find the loop of my tail. And I hope that my instructions on how I did this made sense, because I feel like this could now be confusing because I'm doing this a different way. But I have to accommodate my bead holes. That's the whole thing. So I'm finding the center fold of my cord, 13 feet, it's a lot of cord. Okay, here's the center fold. So I'm putting this in my lap, and I have to make a leadered needle. So I have this short piece of fire line here. I'm going to put this tail through this loop, and I'm going to put a needle on. I did cut the ends off because they were tattered, because I keep reusing the same piece over and over. I'm going to put my needle on. Okay, so I just put the thread between my fingers, slide that down. I'm going to slide the needle down a few inches there. I'm going to get my other end. Okay, Sandra Younger, she uses like 2 feet of thread. I'm just using this because it's a scrap piece. Instead of throwing it away, I'm going to make it useful. Hold the 2 ends together, tie an overhand knot. Okay, and I'm going to put this 2 ends through the loop. And I have just like an inch of tail. It doesn't have to be exact, but just to show you example, I have about an inch of tail on each side there. See that? Okay. Now the thing is you have to adjust your needle so that the knot is on the side. If you have this knot over this loop, okay, if it's like, let's see here, if this knot sits right there on this loop, it's going to add bulk. The knot will add bulk to this loop, and then when you slide the beads down, this is going to open up. It's going to want to make it open up. So really the best thing to do is to have the needle here on one end, the loop on this end, and the knot in the middle, because it won't open up. And now all I'm going to do is string on my beads here, and see, I can go like this and use the wire to easily string them on. Now I'm not going to string all of these on. I'm only going to do like sections. So maybe I'll just do that big black bead and the purple ones here, and I'll go to the next cube. And I will be fast forwarding this because it does get repetitive in areas, and then where I get to an area where things change, I will come back and show you what's going on. Okay, so all of these have pretty large holes. They can go over 2 cords. Okay, so I'm just going to go like this. See how easy? So easy. They just slide right over. If you're using a big eye needle there, it is going to cause issues. You have to yank it really hard. Okay, so I'm going to set this to the side for now, and we're going to do some knotting. So I'm going to bring these beads down. I'm not going to bring them all the way down. I bring them to maybe about halfway, okay, because they actually do end up getting in my way. So if you look, down here's my knot, and I'm not really centered, so I have to adjust this so that I have even, because see, one side's longer, so I have to just adjust this. Okay, now I brought them more than halfway down my tails, because what's going to happen is if you have these too close to your loop end, they're going to fall off. So you want to bring them down near the end where you're going to start knotting, but not all the way because they will get in your way. So slide the first bead down. Okay, now whenever I do the 2-cord technique, I don't usually use tweezers. I do this all by hand. I don't use a knotting tool. It's all by hand. A lot of companies are selling these fancy knotting tools, but you really don't need them. Okay, so there's my first knot. Now what I do is I hold the cord like this. I put it between my pinky, and I wrap it around my 3 fingers here. I turn my hand, and I pull this through, okay? And then I go like this, I adjust this knot. It's kind of awkward when you first start out, but I adjust this knot down like this to my first bead, okay? Pull it down, and then I pull this cord, and the knots slide down right here on top, okay? See that? And then you can go like this with your thumb and pull it down, but really what tightens it is separating these cords. So I separate them, pull it tight, and because the knot is so large, it can't go into the hole, so it's a professional looking knot there, okay? And I'll do this a few times with you guys, and then I'll fast forward to where the necklace will start changing up. So I have my next bead. I'm going to bring him down. And you can also use the next bead to pull this knot down. See? This bead is not going over that knot. Again, I do it again, and I do it so much that I get really fast at it, but I go like this. I wrap the cords around my 3 fingers, turn my hand, and I pull this through. Okay? This knot flips. I use my index to slide the knot on top of the bead, and then I go like this and pull the cords down. Okay? And then I separate the cords like this. Now again, if you're doing this with one cord, you can't pull them, there's no pulling them apart. So again, you would tie an overhand knot with one cord, and you would try to get it as close as you can to the bead, and then use your tweezers and go like this to slide the knot down. That is trickier. I will get to an area where we'll have to do that, I think. So hopefully I can show you then. Okay? So next bead. Again, use this bead to slide the knot down. Again, like this. Bring the knot down. Sit it on top like this. Separate the cords. Pull it tight. Tell you what, if you get this cord, it will be your favorite cord. My first favorite cord was Chinese knotting cord, but I have to tell you that I actually like this more. Okay, next bead. There I am. I'm going to do it again. Oops. Flipped in the wrong direction. It's like this. Bring this down. Now, over time of knotting this, I mean, it'll be a ways. I usually don't do this one thing I'm fixing to tell you about until I get all the way to the very end of knotting all of my beads. So when you get all the way to the end, you'll notice that this is kind of like stiff. It is right now. See how it's like stiff? Okay, it's kind of stiff, like it's straight. It doesn't want to bend very easily. So what's going on is it's all stiff. It's tight. So what I end up doing when I finish doing all of my knots is I'll come back to like here and I'll pull this apart. And what it does is it relaxes the cord. It makes the knots even tighter. But you'll end up noticing slight gaps. Do you see? I have some wiggle room here. And when you do that, it's actually going to add like 2 inches of length to your necklace. So you might do a whole bunch of knotting and you get to the end, you're like, oh no, I need more beads, and you know, what do I do now? So when you do that little technique where you pull it to make the cord relax because it's so stiff, it'll give you a few more inches of length, which is awesome. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Okay, so I have my knot tied there. Pull that apart, bring the next bead down. I think I'm going to do the black bead, and after that I will fast forward. So right there. But again, you don't want to do that little stretching thing until you do the entire necklace. You want to wait for the very end there, okay? So just like that, bring this down. Okay, pull it apart. Now I just realized something. So we are accommodating these gemstone beads that take up 2 cords. Now let's say this here, let's say, what if we use like a ceramic bead? That has a huge hole. Okay, this here is butting up right against that knot. It's not going inside. That's good. But let's say you use a ceramic bead or a big another gemstone bead that has a really big hole, maybe a Z bead. The Z beads have some huge holes. What you could do is add another cord to this. Yeah, totally. I cannot believe I'm actually thinking of this right now. So let's say that the hole in this bead is so doggone big that it wants to go over this knot and the knot disappears. What you can do is go to your spool, take some cord, put the cord through the bead, which I think I can do it with this one. Oh yes. Okay. So actually this knot shouldn't be here. I would have to undo that knot. Like I told you with how I did, what was it? This area I had to undo, and I had to undo this area. So that knot would be undone to accommodate like a ceramic bead that has a huge hole, okay? You hold the cord like this, and you would tie an overhand knot with 3 cords. That will add more bulk so that your ceramic bead, when you bring it down, it won't hop over that knot. Makes sense? Now this bead here is not hopping over my knot, so I won't do that. But that is another thing you can do. You can fill the hole of the bead so that your bead doesn't hop over the knot. And this one's pretty good, so I won't be doing that. But that is how you would do it. So cool. Oh, I love this so much. Okay, I'll put this back over here out of my way. Tie another knot, and I'm gonna continue doing this, okay? I have to, when I run out of beads, I have to add more beads. So, right here is that knot. Pull these apart. Okay, that looks great. And again, I will be stretching this so that the cords relax. This looks good. The knot isn't going in there, so I'm going to go with this. I was wondering about that bead at first. I'm going to continue picking up the rest of my gemstone beads, and I will come back when I get to this little flower bead there, because I don't know if 2 cords will pass through there. We will see. Okay, so this one here, let's see. I'm going to take this one off. Find my little tail. Okay, let's see if this one will fit on the cord. And it does. Okay, let's see. I don't think the skull's going to. This one has a nice hole. Look at the hole in that one. Yes. I don't think this one will. I'm going to see. It might not. Let's see. Am I wrong? Oh my gosh, it does. I can't believe it. Okay. So then that one has a big hole. That one has a big hole. I'm going to have to do a special technique for that. Big hole. Don't know about that one. That might actually be like the skull bead, but you know what? I need to show you how I did it. So I might do it with the skull bead, just to show you how I did it, or can I do it down there? We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay, because I do feel like I need to show you. I told you how I did it, but I feel like I need to show you how I did it. Okay, I'm bringing these down. I guess I could do some more. I do like to do small sections because it's just easier. So let's see what these are like. That one will be different, so I can't string that flower. And it's okay if that gets tattered right there. Do not worry about that. If you're doing gemstone beads, it might tatter it a little bit. Okay, how close am I? This one does have tightness to it. That one's super loose. This one's loose. Man, I thought the skull bead had the smallest hole. Maybe I should do it here at this one, because this one is kind of tight. Because I'm thinking that all of these might go over. I'm going to test this heart. I need at least one of them to have a smaller hole so I can show you the little trick that I do. So let's see if this heart goes over. Just for experimental reasons. I don't remember which direction it went. Okay, it's going to go this way. It does go over. Wow, actually it's really tight there at the end. Right here, it pops. Pops. I think I'm going to do this little trick with that flower bead, because I have to show you guys how to do it in case you have a bead that has a really tiny hole. And oh my gosh. So this cord, this is 0.8 wax polyester cord. I haven't tried this with pearls yet. But I love freshwater pearls. Wouldn't it be awesome to do a design like this and have a big honking like Baroque pearl? To be able to add that in a design like this would be so cool, and you would have to do one cord. So I would have to test and see if I can get this to go through some of my pearls. I have a ton of pearls that I got dirt cheap back in the day, doing my little thrifting thing on Mercari. So I think what I should do is this one because it's kind of tight. I'm going to show you how to do it with this. Okay. Pretend this has a hole that is so small, only one cord goes through. What do? I'm going to cut one of the cords. It does not matter which one. I'm going to leave about 1/4 of an inch tail. Okay, like this. So the bead slides down. Okay, my single cord. Down here. Don't worry about this tail. We burn that off at the end. Okay, so now I have this. So I'm going to tie a knot, right? And go like that. But my next bead is going to be able to go over 2 cords. So I got this bead on that has the really tiny hole. Man, I can't wait to try this with pearls. What I'm going to do, because my next bead can accommodate 2 cords, is I'm going to bring this up. So I take this cord and I bypass that there. So I want to make sure that you clearly see what I'm doing. I'm going to make this cord longer. I don't actually need it to be that long, but I don't want it to get sucked into this big loop I'm going to make here, okay? I want you to understand what I'm doing, so I have to make sure that I'm clearly in the video. Here is the cord I'm using. I'm going to make a loop, okay? So I'm going to go like this time, okay? And these tails, this tail, both of them, are going to go through these loops. So I'm going to grab the tail with the beads and pull it through the loop, okay? And then I put my finger in this loop, and here are my knots, okay? I'm going to slide this knot down. Now, I don't need this much tail coming through, it's waste. So I'm going to put my finger in here and pull this knot down. This goes like that. Okay. These are my tails. This is a lot of excess cord. I don't want to waste that much, and I don't need to waste that much because I'm going to need it in my necklace probably. So I'm going to pull that there, okay, put this back on my finger, and I'm going to adjust the cords. This just needs to sit like that. Just adjusting the length. Okay, bring this down. There we go. That's a much better waist of tail to have. Okay, like this. Bring the knot down like we usually do. Okay, just like that. And then pull the 2 ends tight. And there we go. So what we end up doing is I would cut this 1/4 of an inch and I would melt this little tail down into the knot. Okay, it's going to be very strong, very secure. This is not going to be weak here. Yeah, there's 1 cord going through there, but like I said, making a necklace like this, accommodating beads with smaller holes, you have to do this, okay? So now I'm back to 2 cords again, which means that I could just slide these beads down that I put on. I thought that I was going to have to make some adjustments. I'm just going to continue knotting this with 2 cords until I get to this flower, because that's where I'll have to change up. And I realized that I might run into a new problem I haven't run into yet. And when I get to that flower, what I'm going to have to do is cut my cord at the very back end of it. So after I do that, I'm not going to have that loop anymore that I use to put my needle on. So I'll have to figure out how I'm going to add more beads. So I guess I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. So I have to find the center of this and cut it with my cutter thing. So center, finding the center. Okay, here's center. So right here. Okay, my leader needle is now gone. And what I'm going to do, maybe I think I'm going to relax my necklace now, because this is going to be directional. Both sides are beautiful, even though this side's rounded, right, and this side is the texture. When I pull it, it might make this twist. So I'm going to relax my necklace now. I don't usually do this so early. I do it at the end. So to relax the necklace, I go here. See how it's so stiff and it's wavy, right? The wax also is part of why it's stiff. I'm going to go here and pull it It's going to make it longer. It's going to make it more supple, flexible. I'll do it again here. You have to pull really hard, by the way, okay? You have to use your muscle to do this. It is so strong. This cord is crazy strong. I really am pulling this hard. Okay. And here. And oh my gosh. Okay. I should have measured it because it's going to add more length to it. And then I'll go like this. Okay, it already looks better. It's not wavy anymore. Okay, let's add the bead. So, okay, it looks like this is top, this is bottom. Just by laying the beads flat, these beads are flat, laying them how they are naturally wanted to lay. I do want this one to go out. I don't know if it's going to do that or not. But this looks like it's on top. This looks like it's on bottom. So I'm going to separate these cords. Okay, here's the top. This cord's waxed, so you'll notice it wants to stick to itself, so I just run it between my fingers. By the way, this cord is thin enough to go on 11 OC beads. I'm going to pass the cord through this bead on the front side, because that's the top cord. Top cord goes through the front of the flower. Now the bottom cord is going to go through the back. Okay, so again, this is waxed, like I said, so it sticks to itself. It's not like a cotton cord. To make it easier to pass through the hole, I go like this. Pull it tight. It makes the cord go to one side of the bead, and it opens up the hole there. Not, you could see through it, see? So I go like this. And I hope I'm crisscrossing. Yeah, I am, okay. So I'm just crisscrossing the ends there, and I'm bringing this cord through. And I kind of wish this flower had 6 petals, because the 5 petals kind of makes it sit, you'll see, not straight. It sits at an angle. So I'm going to adjust this. It's still going to look good though. Yeah. So I'm going to want 3 petals on the bottom side of the necklace. Actually, this isn't the bottom side. It's the outside. This is the inside where my neck would be. But I'm going to want the 3 petals on the outside. So it's going to lay like this, right? My giant orange flower will be here. And I realized that I did a really good job. Later on, you'll see, maybe you'll see the picture at the beginning, but I did a really good job separating the color, especially the orange. There's a good distance between all the orange areas of the necklace. Okay, so like this. I want the knot to sit on the side of the flower, not at an angle. I don't want the knot to sit up here or on the back. I want it to sit on the side. See? It's on the side. So once you adjust it by pulling the strands, mine's already where it needs to be really, but you can adjust it, okay? I want my knot to sit here, like this. So I'm putting these cords together, and I'm going to tie another overhand knot, just like this. Okay? And I'm going to bring this knot down. And I want my knot to sit, again, on the side of the flower, not... How does this look? It needs to be here. Yes. Okay. So I just moved the knot because it hopped over a petal. I want the knot to sit here. Okay. Slide this knot down. Right there. Like that. Okay. Perfect. Stop. Pull these cords tight, gently. Pull them tight. Perfect. Okay. Next bead. So that's going to be the blue bead here. And like I said, I have a lot of cord left, by the way. I do not have my thing anymore. My leadered needle. So I have to pass these ends through here. I think it'll be good with this bead. It does seem to have a pretty big hole. Yes, it does, but I worry about that big heart and the skull bead. Okay. Okay, these are great. So I'm going to continue tying knots, and I'll come back if I have any problems. So I am back to this flower in the purple this time, and I did stretch this here, so I need to stretch it here now. God grief, the cord is so strong. Okay, so now it's relaxed, and I'm going to put this on. So again, find the top cord. Okay, this is the top cord. Go through the front of the flower. Get the back with the bottom cord, go through the back. You could see how I flatten the cord with my fingers. You know, before I got this cord, I was debating whether or not I should buy linen, waxed linen, which is very expensive. And you don't get very much of it on a spool. And I saw that I can get large spools on Etsy. And it was ridiculously overpriced. And I thought, you know what? I can't melt linen. At least I don't think I could because it was natural. I should get a synthetic because I use the Chinese nylon knotting cord. And I knew that if I could find polyester, that it would melt. So I found this flat wax polyester cord. I actually found it through Sander Younger. And there's small spools of it you can get that are maybe a quarter of this. So it's like, I don't know, like a quarter of an inch out. And I think they were like $10. And then I ended up finding that spool by accident. It was recommended to me. And I'm like, wow, that would last me 3 lifetimes. I should get that one. So I found it, and thank God, I was so happy. Okay, so this looks good here. Holding it up. I think about here, maybe. So I'm gonna go ahead, tie a knot here. Pull all these through. I should have made a little bit bigger loop there. Okay. Bring this down. Again, I want my knot to be on the side of the flower. That's where I like it. And you can adjust the knot. Like if you want it to go this way, pull it this way. Does that make sense? And then it's more on the side. Yeah, I actually need to pull them apart a little bit more. Yeah. Okay, so I have this. Now I'm going to add, man, look how pretty the back is. The color is so pretty. I'm going to add this bead. I'm going to check the length and I'll be back. It has been a couple of days since I filmed that section there, and what happened is I did not have enough beads. So I had stopped at this bead, and it was, where was it? Right here. It was right here in length. So look at how much longer this was. So this isn't even 24 inches. I can't slide it over my head. I need it to be 24 inches. And so I stopped recording because it was 10 o'clock at night, and I didn't eat dinner, so I thought I'll just figure out what to do. So I came back to it and I realized that I was going to have to make some changes. So how I had it was this bead here was purple, right? And I stopped here. And I realized that I was going to have to add more beads. At first I thought I could add like these two and it'd work, and I put it on and it wasn't working. These were falling to the bottom, the very bottom, and they would be laying sideways and it looked terrible. So I realized I need to add more beads. So I continued the pattern, all right? So looking back at the beginning, my pattern was blue, a purple flower. So this is a purple flower heart, that's just a purple flower, so I did that. Skull, blue teardrop, pink, orange flower. Now this, or, well, it's like orangey yellow. This was purple, okay? I realized that I needed to change this from purple to the orangey color, the orangey yellow color, because the whole theme of this box is marigold memory. So I really like it whenever I can design a project that really shows off the theme of the subscription, right? So I changed this from purple to the yellow orangey flower, marigold memory, and then it's blue, okay? And then I had to add all of these beads here. All of these were added. Well, this one too. So it's purple again, the skull, blue teardrop, pink, the orange flower, my big focal here, and the blue bead. Now what I did, after I added these beads, I wore the necklace for an entire day, and I just tied a simple square overhand knot right here, okay? I tied it there, just a temporary knot is what I did. And I had all of this cord here, as you can see, I don't know, I'm gonna guess maybe over 2 feet of cord. So I put the necklace on, I have this little temporary knot, and I just put the cord like this around my neck, and I wore this necklace all day because I didn't want to make a necklace and it ended up not laying right. And then several of you went and got the subscription box to make 2 projects from it because I'm going to be doing a second project with the Marigold memory box, and it not end up working out. That would really drive me nuts. I would feel bad. Okay, so I wanted to make sure it would lay right. So I wore the necklace literally all day long, morning till like midnight, and the necklace wore beautifully all day. I was so happy. I never had to fix it. So I put it on my neck, and I had it like this. I put it on my neck like this, okay? And it ended up turning to lay like this, which is even better because I was worried at first. What I did is, remember I stopped here, okay? I added these 2 beads, and then I had the orange bead, this orange flower here. I didn't have these 3 beads in it at first, okay? When I first wore it. This here was just connected to the orange flower and the skull, okay? So it was just the orange flower and the skull, so it was shorter. And it was still not really long enough, but I wanted to see what it looked like. I didn't think about it until later to add even more beads. But when I added the beads, like I said, I wore it all day, and it wanted to lay like this, with the orange flower at the bottom. There was one point where it turned more like this, but pretty much the whole day it wore like this. I did not have to adjust it at all. And I think why it did it is because of this big bead. I think that's why it laid like that. And I'm really happy of how it looks. It's really beautiful. It's so colorful. I feel like it really shows off the theme, Marigold Memory, Day of the Dead theme. And I was thinking when I first had started this design about using these. These are 6mm purple iris here, where the 8mm beads are, and I thought, you know what, I don't think I should do that because of the size. All of these might fall like this, and then the smaller beads would be at the back. I didn't want that to happen. I was really worried the skulls were going to be upside down. I did not want upside down skulls or heart beads, and so it ended up working out. All right, so I just wanted to show you. I could have already had knotted this and completed the thing and come back, but I realized I should show you what it ended up doing. So yeah, like I said, I don't know if it was this video or the previous video that I filmed, how whenever I make stuff, I never complete it on the first sitting. I always sit with it, think about it, take a break from it, come back, and it always ends up working out when I do that, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do this simple square knot here. I'm going to finish tying in between the beads. I don't know if I'll fast forward through me doing it or not, but I also have to do the wire wrapped loops for the large orange flower. Oh, one more thing I need to point out here. Okay, so my original design, and you couldn't have really seen it until I undid this here. Let me untangle. My original design had it where it was this flower connected to here. So I had to end up putting this bead in on this side. So yeah, because of how this one was, my connector, I started here with these turquoise beads, right? And I changed out here from turquoise going to all these gemstones, Czech beads. And then here, so I had that 6-inch tail, and I told you how I tied a second one in. I did square knots. So this side here, I do have to add this bead. And if you pay attention to the shape of this bead, it's pointed like this. So I have to put this one in on this side and tie a knot after it. And thank goodness I made this 6 inches because it's not really going to affect me tying knots because I have enough tail to do that, okay? So this one here, I have to take off, and I'm going to do a wire wrap loop on this one. I might fast forward me doing that because this video is getting crazy long. I did not want it to be this long, but it just ended up happening. I might have to remove a lot of stuff out of it. But yeah, I'm going to continue tying knots in between these, and I will be back. Alright, I am back, and it's time to put our flower in. As you saw, I did wire wrap loops on the sides of this here, and so I'm going to attach this into my Naughty Do-It-All. This is a travel size one, and you don't have to have this. You could probably use a clipboard or some kind of a container to clip your piece into. Maybe some kind of a loom. Okay, so I'm just going to hold this in place, and I'm going to put my flower in, and I think I want it to be this way because of how, yeah, because look at how that's sitting. Yeah, I'll do it this way. Okay, so find my ends. They are pretty long. I do have leftover slack. I will measure it and see how much waste I have for you guys. So if you make the same piece, you know, you won't have waste. Okay, I have to move this. Is this good? Maybe here? Is that gonna close my ring? No? Okay. I thought, oh gosh, what if it squashes my ring? So I'm just gonna do a square knot. I think I'm still too far away. Okay, center almost. Almost. A little too close. I wish the screen wasn't so small because it makes it harder to see. So I'm going to do like an upside down square knot. I'm going in that direction. Usually you work going in this direction, but it's pretty much the same. So the right goes over the center, left cord goes over the right, underneath the center. Okay, and you just pull it up through this loop here on the right. And make your first knot. And I might have to, let's see, I might have to release it from here because I want this to be closer, and I feel like that's a lot of space. Wiggle it open. Oh, it's so tight already. Come on. Get with the program. Okay, so make this shorter. Can it clip in here like this? Not really, it's too small. Okay, what does it look like? I said that's perfect, that length right there. I want to tie at least like 2 full square knots. Okay, so I'm going to do that again. So I did the right side. Now I'm going through the left side. And I feel like I need to hold it somewhere else. How else can I hold this? Is that going to work? Here, here, here. Gosh, it's just like a fraction from closing. Oh, maybe the skull bead, because it's kind of flat. Like, oh, down again. Okay, I got it. Good grief. Okay, left. Had to readjust it a whole bunch. Okay, so the left goes over the center, right goes over the left, and I just feed this up through this loop here. Like this, pull that through. Here's another square, it's half of a square knot. So really that's 1 square knot. Now the right goes over the center, left goes over the right cord, under the center, through this loop. Pull it through. Pull that tight. And now I'm going to do the left side. So left goes over the center, right goes over left, under the center, through the loop. Pull that tight. Okay, I'm going to flip this over and do the other side, so I'm going to hold this up and let it untwist if it's twisted at all. It's actually not untwisting on me, so it's pretty good. Okay, so there we go. Again, I straighten this out. Right goes over the center, left goes over right, under the center, and through this loop. Pull it tight. Now left over right, right over left, under center, through the loop. Now right, right over center, left over right, under center, through the loop. It seems like, I swear, the dogs, they just know like when I'm at the end of the video and they have to interrupt me, shaking, crying to go out. It's like, what the heck? Okay, I'll try that again. Right over center, left over right, under center, through the loop. Okay, and then the left side, right over, let me zoom out, left over the center, right over left, under center, through the loop. Hold on, Jasper. Okay, so they should look even now. And they do. Okay, there we go. I did not have a connector, so I made one. I'm gonna cut and burn our cords off, and I've done this several times in my videos, so I think I probably will fast forward. But real quick, I'll show you how to do one. You just want to cut it about 1/4 of an inch long and burn this down. And I do touch this with my finger. I blow it out. I use this first to flatten it. Okay, and then I do it again. And then I use my finger to mold it. And you think it'd be like extremely hot, but it's actually not. It's actually not bad at all, okay? I've done this several times, have not hurt myself. Now, one time I did catch my fingernail on fire. I did not let you guys see that. I ended up editing it out. But I was fine. I didn't get hurt. It was funny. I thought it was hilarious. But yeah, I was totally fine. Even with my fingernail on fire. I have laid both of these necklaces out in the way that they would hang when I'm wearing them. So this is how they fall, just like this, okay? They stayed like this when I was wearing them. And this is something that I've struggled with, played with a lot with asymmetric designs. The whole thing about asymmetry is that when you make a design like this, you have to make sure that it lays properly, because if it doesn't, then the design's just trash and you gotta cut it up. But they have turned out to be so nice. I'm very proud and happy about them. Now there's a couple of things I want to talk to you guys about, and one thing is bead design. So when I made this one here, I really wanted a lot of oddball beads in it, and it turned out to be perfect. I love this necklace so much. And like I said, I've always wanted to make a necklace with turquoise nuggets. Ever since I was a little girl and I was watching the shopping channel and I saw these beautiful necklaces that were hundreds of dollars, I wanted to make something like them, and I just love it so much. So anyways, I wanted to do the same thing with this one. I wanted to have oddball beads, but because I ended up running short on the necklace and I needed more length, I had to add more beads in, which went away from the oddball bead thing. And there is oddball beads in it, so oddball, 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 and I think that's one. There is an oddball, and there's this area here that I realize some people might not like in the design, but I'm going to tell you right now, when you're wearing this, you don't even see these two. They are behind the neck. The first bead you see at the top of the neck is actually the skull. When you're looking in the mirror, you see the skull bead first. Now I realized, well, this has actually turned out for the best, because if this heart was replacing these, because remember my pattern was blue, purple, skull, teardrop, pink bead, flower, right? And then it repeats. If this was the heart bead, it would drive me nuts, because this heart is so wide. It's really big. It would be annoying. And same here, if this blue flower was this bead, I think it would be annoying because it's so big and it's right there at the side of the neck. And I've always had this thing where I've never liked big beads on the back of my neck, or a big area on the back of my neck. So I think it actually turned out for the best. Now the next thing I want to talk to you about is how much waste I had in cord. Because like I said, I started out with 13 feet. So oddly, I'm actually surprised, I again had 4 feet of extra cord. So 4 feet for both of them. Now this doesn't really make sense to me. Why did I have 4 feet of extra cord? Because if you remember, when I started knotting this, I can only fit one cord through all of these turquoise beads. And then when I got here, I started doubling the cord all the way through here, and then I had to do a single cord here because that bead had a really tiny hole, and then I doubled the cord all the way to here. With this one, I actually started doubling the cord from the beginning all the way to that blue flower, and then the double cord did fit double through that bead, but I wanted to show you how you could decrease the cord. So I cut off one of the cords, we did a single cord through that bead, but the rest, the cord was doubled. So I don't actually understand why we had 4 feet extra on both necklaces, but that's how much I had left. All right. Now, another thing I have to tell you guys is we are still collecting donations to get a new video camera. I'm still using the same one since 2011. I think it's running on love, or maybe God. I don't know. But if you would like to help get a new video camera, there's a few ways you can donate. One is through YouTube. Down here in the corner, there's a full screen button. Below that, you will see a circle with 3 dots. If you click there, you can click on the Super Thanks button and you can donate through there. But the thing is that YouTube will take, it's like 30 or 40% of the money that you donate. So the best way to donate, so that all of the money goes to the video camera, will be through Venmo and Cash App. Down here below the video, you will see more in bold letters. Click that, the description will expand, and you can donate through Venmo or Cash App. Alright, so this is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and make sure you click the bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload new videos, and follow me on my social media sites. I'm on Instagram, Pinterest, and X. Thanks for watching.